Hello, my artsy thrifty friends. I'm Ken, and welcome back to another thrifty review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Fine Touch 24-piece watercolor pencil set. The Fine Touch is a house brand by Hobby Lobby alongside their Master's Touch Fine Art Studio brand. This particular 24-piece set did come alongside bigger sets, but I tend to like to start with the smaller sets in order to see if I'm going to like something before I invest my money into a bigger set. As you guys can see, the price on this 24-piece set was $9.99, and Hobby Lobby typically runs a 50% off all the time that I've seen anyway on their house brands. So the Master's Touch Fine Art Studio and the Fine Touch are always 50% off. So this 24-piece set, which was originally already priced at a pretty reasonable price of $9.99, I was able to purchase for $4.89 before taxes, bringing each pencil to a whopping 20 cents per pencil. So that's pretty impressive. I just thought I'd throw those figures out there for you and ask you to keep that in the back of your mind as we continue on with this review. So let's just take a look at what we have here. And of course my package looks worn and used because it is. Whenever I get a product, I actually like to put it into some extensive use before I try to offer you guys my opinion on what I think, to make sure that I know what I'm saying. But do keep in mind, all things said in this video are my opinion. I am not an affiliate of any company, and I just try to offer you the best advice I can on a product based on how it's worked for me. As you can see, the box is your pretty generic standard packaging for your large box art department stores. And I did remove the pencil once before, and they do come in a color range. Mine are kind of snug in the box. I'm gonna go ahead and take these out as we talk about them. I'm just gonna put those down there. We're gonna get to those in just a second. So the box does have some cute little sayings about what the pencils are supposed to do. However, there is no light fast or pigment information, and unfortunately there also are no color names. So that is a hurdle to try to get over. Let's take a look at the barrel. Just your standard pigment stick held together by a wax binder. Looking at how the barrel looks, each barrel is color coded to match the pigment of the pencil. And of course, that's something that we know to take with a grain of salt. So here's a little tip I want to go ahead and throw out at you guys. Now, whenever you happen to buy a pencil that has no pigment or no light fast information, that's bad enough. But no color name, that's actually a little worse. So what I like to do is whenever I swatch the pencil out, I will number the swatch. And then I just wrap a piece of masking tape around the end of my pencils and write the number that matches the one from the swatch on the pencil, so that I always have a great reference and guide to go by when I'm trying to determine which pigment stick or which colored pencil I would like to use. So let's go ahead and get the box out the way because it's not much to look at. It's just pretty straightforward. And I'm gonna grab these pencils up here. I'm gonna lay those out, and hopefully they won't roll around too much. That's one of the things about round pencils that I'm starting to discover, especially after using like triangle pencils and things like that, that I would really prefer companies to actually kind of make all of their pencils triangle, all companies. That way that they don't roll around and run from me as I'm trying to use them. But so let's take a swatch. Let's take a look at a swatch sheet. So this is the sheet that I swatched the pencils out on. It's just actually this is Royal and Langnickel 90-pound watercolor pad paper. It might not have been the best choice And if you were to swatch these out on, you know, maybe like a Canson or even a 100% cotton paper, the colors will probably look more vibrant. But even on this paper, you can see that the pigmentation is pretty bright. I'm gonna see if I can hold those up a little bit for you. And as you can see, I did number each one just so that I could write that number on the pencil and use this as a reference guide whenever I was using these to paint. And I am going to go ahead and show you guys in a few minutes a few examples. And we probably will get into doing something with the pencil so that you can see how they perform. So you can see there's quite a wide variety of colors that come in this set. I mean, there's some nice yellows, and it goes into oranges and shades of pinks and reds and blues and few greens, a lighter brown, a darker brown, a black, and a white. And there really aren't any purples or any violets. There aren't any really dark colors or earth tones in this particular set. Now, I'm not sure about the bigger sets, but the 24 set that I bought doesn't seem to contain many dark colors or many earth colors, and I hope that's not a theme that would carry over into the bigger sets, especially for like landscape artists. So let me show you guys a few examples of some things that I've done, because I've actually done quite a few paintings with these and used them in some multimedia projects as well. So if you got a chance to see the watercolor pencil tutorial that went up on a channel, then you will remember this is the card that we actually did in the tutorial. And the only thing I've done since then is take a distressed ink pad and just kind of ink the outside of it to make it give the card a more rugged look. But this was the card that we did with the watercolor pencils, and it was a quick landscape done with no drawing, just straight pencil to paper. So that was the card that we made with that. And here is a little flower bouquet that I drew with the pencils and colored in a couple of months back. As you can see, the colors are really rich, and some things that I liked about them was that they layered well and they blended well, not only on, I mean, just as the color went down on the paper. I'm sorry guys, you would think I can't talk right now. As the color went down on the paper and it was wet enough for them to blend, they blended really well. They re-wet really well. They layer well. So those are some of the things that I actually can just go ahead and tell you straight off that I like about them. Keeping in mind again that we're talking about pencils that we're paying 20 cents a pencil for. So here is a little bouquet that I did inside one of my sketchbooks. And what I've come to discover about this set, because it doesn't contain a lot of darks or earth tones, that I tend to run to it more whenever I'm doing flowers. Just did a little light yellow background there. Here are a couple of other ones. Here is a landscape I did, which is very reminiscent, or it is what I use as a reference to do the card, and we did it in the video, but this is just another version of that. And behind it is also another landscape version that was done with these particular colored watercolor pencils, just in a different color selection here. So I just wanted you guys to see some of the things that I've done with them, and I've also used them in a couple of mixed media projects, but I didn't want to use up out of our video time showing you things that I've done. More so, I would rather show you how the pencils themselves perform as we talk a little bit more about the pros and cons, but still keep in mind that we're talking about 20 cents a pencil here. So I'm gonna do a few swatches with you guys with a few of the pencils. We'll add some water to it to see how the pigment disperses in water. And then we'll actually do just a little very quick painting at the bottom where I've already drawn a kind of a square or rectangle out here and stamped a flower in it from one of my Tim Holtz stamp sets. So let's see here. Let's grab, let's say, I don't know. Let's do some primaries here. We'll grab what looks to be like maybe a medium yellow. And let's just swatch that out here. I'm gonna apply moderate pressure to make sure we can really get some good pigmentation down. And with this said, that's one of the cons about the pencils that I thought was there. You have to kind of do quite a few passes and put quite a lot of pressure on them in order to get, you know, enough pigment out of the pencil down on the paper. Let's see here, and let's also swatch out a red. I'll pick the one that I think is the closest to a primary, and this is my numbering system. This is a number 8. Keep in mind these have no numbers or colors that color names that come on them originally. I'm just going to do the same thing here, putting that down, applying some moderate pressure. And let's also try a blue. Let's try this one. And I need to sharpen this one. Keeping in mind that your barrel is wood, so this pencil is not all pigment stick per se. It's pigment that's encased in wood, so you will have to sharpen your pencils. And just for the sake of saying we did it, let's also do a green. I'm gonna try to speed up a little bit here, guys. And let's do a brown. I just want to see you guys see how the pigment lays down. Dry lid on dry paper. And typically whenever I'm using color pencils, I actually like to color my image first before I go back in with water. Now that's not to say you have to do it that way. You do it however you need to, that's more comfortable to you, so that you produce a great painting. That's typically what I like to do. So now I'm just gonna grab a water brush and I'm going to make sure it's clean. All right. And then we're just gonna go in here and we are going to come halfway in this and drag it out with some water so you can get a pretty good idea about how it looks watered down with trying to do it with light washes. Because what I've discovered that watercolor pencils are not just a great companion with other things. You can actually paint really great pictures from just using watercolor pencils. So it helps to get a great idea for the different color variations that you can form from them, as well as how that pigment will release and flow in water. And as you can see, these actually are not bad. And that's why I've been using them so extensively. I mean, they were my very first set of watercolor pencils. Now, I will be honest, I have obtained other ones in the meantime, and I'll have reviews on those and thoughts on those and how they differ from these and whether they're better or worse. But I just keep telling myself, as I do anything with these, and I look at the quality of it, 20 cents a pencil. So that gives you a general idea of how they look dry on dry, and then once water is added to them to disperse the pigment. Not too bad. Pros, 24 pencils for $4.89, breaking down to 20 cents a pencil. They fade nicely into each other. Let's take a look at, oh, I don't know. Let's blend. Let's make some colors here right quick. Let's take that primary blue. Since this set doesn't come with a violet, let's see if we can mix one. And red. And we're just gonna layer those directly on top of each other. And you can actually start to see a little bit of blending already that you have a violet coming up. I'm just gonna take a water brush and I'm gonna make sure it's clean. Then I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna mix these. Wow, look at there, guys. Look at that. Look at that violet. That's nice. And this is cheap watercolor paper, guys. This is like Artist Loft watercolor paper. It's definitely not the best in the world, but that's a pretty nice violet there. So the colors are mixed really well. Now you don't have a gray in the set, so just for kicks, let's try to mix a gray real quick. We'll take a brown. Oh, I'm throwing pencils. And I need to hurry up here because we are going to try to keep this video under 30 minutes like we try to keep all of them. And where are we? 15 minutes in? 16 minutes in? So yeah, we need to get a move on. So I'm just gonna put some of that blue down in that brown. And let's see if we can get us a light gray. Let's rinse that brush. Okay, that's more of a bluish gray, but we were definitely gonna get there. It needs a little more brown in it, but we were definitely gonna get there. So not too bad. So as you can see, they mix well. They blend well together. They re-wet nicely when you layer them. You can actually layer them to get more depth perception in color. You have to layer them to get more depth perception in color, to be honest. So those are some of the things that I actually find interesting and like about the pencils. Some cons about the pencils as we jump into painting our little quick sketch today. Cons about the pencils. They have no color name, no light fast information, no pigment information, no numbering system, no reference online or of any type that I could find to any of this information. Again, 20 cents a pencil though. I couldn't have my hopes up too high to find this information. There is no purple or violet included in the pencil set already. There aren't many earth tones. There aren't many darks. However, you can mix a very nice violet, as you got to see for yourself. And I'm pretty sure that you can probably darken some of these other colors up. I really haven't just tried to push the pencils to that extent because I'm really scared that with them being as cheap as they are, now this is where their cheapness would be a downfall, is that I would end up with a lot of muddy colors trying to do too much, because you can't really make the colors darker without adding like black. Well, I guess you could, but I'm just really scared that they're gonna get muddy and ugly. So I'm just coming in here with that green color that we swatched out. I use all of the colors that I'm using in the little composition are from the colors that we swatched out. And then I'm just gonna grab the red and we're gonna use that to lightly color in the flower part. Now I just want you guys to get a general idea of how the pencils perform. You can see that they actually lay down pretty good pigmentation. That's what the pigment isn't like the best, but it's not the worst either. It does require a little pressure to get heavier, deeper colors, or you have to do a lot of layering in order to get richer colors with them. They're not bad. I tell you, my gosh, they're not bad. So those have been my observations of the pencils. We're gonna finish this up right quick. I'm just adding water to it now. And this would be, I mean, I think these would work really well, or I know they'll work really well with like doing card making, coloring cardstock from your stamps. They're a great alternative. You can actually put the color down and actually color your stamp up instead of using, or ink your stamp up, excuse me, instead of using inks, and use those in order to stamp with and make your stamping impressions. So as you can see, you just, and I do want to kind of try to get it time to dry so that you guys can see what it's like to layer. And then here, I'm actually gonna just pull this color around some, which is why I left that part white, because I wanted you guys to see that you can pull these pigments around. So, you know, just and it's, I mean, it's not hard at all. You can come back in here and keep in mind this is still wet, and now this is dry into wet, and I'm just adding a little dark color up around the top. And then I'm gonna hit the bottom of the leaves a little bit with that. Some of the petals, I'm sorry. I'm gonna come back in with my water brush, and I'm just gonna drag that out so that it doesn't look so harsh. And you can just work with these until you get it to look the way you want. And keep in mind, when you go in there with those pencils on a wet background, the marks are going to be a little harder to get them to move and act the way you want, but you can get them to move and act the way you want. There, pretty simple, easy, straightforward techniques with the watercolor pencils and with these particular sets. So let's get down to the nitty gritty as I wrap this up. And I hope this wasn't too boring for you guys. I hope you got some information that you would need to help you make a more informed decision about whether these are some pencils that you would want to purchase. My honest opinion, they're not too bad. You're paying 20 cents a pencil for them. I actually find myself using them a lot. Okay, so if you are looking for just a great set of starting pencils and you're eventually going to invest in a better product as you start to learn more, and you just want to use these because you don't want to, you know, have to feel the stigma of, oh, I spent so much money on them, so I don't want to use them to learn, then yes, these are a great choice. However, if you want to get yourself just one set of good pencils, and that's going to be the only set of pencils that you have and that you use, you may want to look at investing just a little bit more money in a better quality watercolor pencil, and then just using that over and over. Something that's going to have maybe more dark colors and definitely more earth tones to lend to a wider variety of paintings or wider variety of colorings. And I think these would be great for like maybe adult coloring booking, if I'm saying that right. I think it would be great for that. Like I said, they would be great for card making. I've actually used them in some art journaling that I've been trying to get into. So they have their place in my art supplies. They really do. And honestly, I probably use them more than any watercolor pencil set that I have at the moment, other than maybe my favorite castels, which I haven't broken open yet. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, guys, not a bad set. If you're looking for something just to start off with, you're not really seriously into watercolor pencils, this is your first time out the gate, maybe you're just buying a gift for somebody that you don't want it to be too expensive, then yes, you can find these at your local Hobby Lobby or hobbylobby.com, and they will be a great choice. However, I do honestly believe that if you are going to be a more serious painter, or if you're going to be someone that's looking to have some longevity to your painting, be able to give information about your painting and know that they're gonna last, then you may want to just save your money, just a few more pennies and dimes here, to make a better investment into a little bit more of a superior quality product along the artist or professional range, or even even a better student range than this. So there you have it, guys. Hopefully this information was informative to you. It's going to help you make a decision about what you want to do as far as these pencils is concerned. As I tell you always, if you like the information you received in this video and you found it helpful, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Hit that bell and subscribe. Share. Remember that sharing is caring. Head on over to the Thrifty Apprentice Facebook page and like us there so that you can keep up with the things that we do on and off camera. And remember, as I tell you in every video, wait a minute, this is not a tutorial. Gotcha. Guys, have a great night.